My friends, this is a great time to become a channel member. Every week now I'm posting uncensored videos exclusively for my channel members, along with custom emojis and live streams for members at the Arch-Villain level where you get to talk to me directly. Please consider supporting this channel by clicking the link in the video description and joining us in our fight to save pop culture. And also, check out our Patreon and Subscribe-Star pages for exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, including Harvey Cthulhu's insane podcasts, photos of my vast toy collection, and members at the Legionnaire level receive a signed photo, membership card, and certificate signed by me. You'll find the Patreon link in the video description as well. Thanks for watching, my friends, and now on to the video. My friends, in a world where Star Trek has been all but destroyed by mismanagement and abuse at the hands of Secret Hideout, there has been one last and unlikely bastion of Gene Roddenberry's bright, optimistic future left: the Orville. That's right, my friends, the best Trek that has been made in the last decade has been a Star Trek parody made by a passionate fan who happened to get enough clout in Hollywood to make it happen, and that fan, of course, is Seth MacFarlane. Folks, this is a guy who was a Star Trek fan his entire life. There are pictures out there of him as a kid cosplaying in Starfleet uniforms. It's my understanding that he originally went into Paramount and pitched a Star Trek series of his own, and when they told him no, he just rolled up his sleeves and got to work on his own take on a Star Trek series, because Seth doesn't believe in a no-win scenario any more than Admiral Kirk does. And thank God for that, because over the course of 3 seasons on Fox, the crew of the Orville boldly set out to build an alternate universe filled with the kind of science fiction adventures and social commentary that was the hallmark of Gene Roddenberry's universe in better days, before Secret Hideout dumbed it down to Lost in Space levels of idiocy, without Lost in Space's naive charm. In short, the Orville has been a refuge for expat trekkers who could not stomach Mikey Spock being the bestest ever and sonar in space and all that implies. And now, after what feels like years in exile, our sources confirm what one of the stars said at a Comic-Con a month ago. The Orville is set to launch once again for Season 4, but there's a problem, folks. Fox has been purchased, as you know, by Disney, and so, de facto, Disney now controls the Orville. They're funding it. They'll presumably be putting it out on Disney Plus and/or Hulu, and that raises the existential question: will Disney corrupt and mutilate the Orville with their insane woke messaging? Will Disney destroy the Orville by turning it into another Doctor Who, God forbid? In this video, my sources weigh in on that very important question.
Dude, how can anyone doubt that Disney will infect and demolish everything good about the Orville? I mean, Disney got their claws into Doctor Who, right? And as horrible as Doctor Who was pre-Disney, the show got even worse post-Disney. All the constant gay stuff, drag queens, a weepy doctor, and a big mystery about Ruby Sunday that went nowhere. My God, the show fell to its lowest ratings of all time as Disney and Russell T. Davies jumped hand in hand off the ledge of Quality Point, squarely into the middle of Lake Shit. You think that Disney is gonna leave the Orville alone? If past is prologue, Doomcock, it would seem fairly certain that the Orville is doomed. Mark my words, Disney will turn this thing into Star Trek meets Studio 54 by way of Sodom and Gomorrah. It was already headed that way in Season 3, if you recall. There was a lot of wokeness in those episodes.
I don't dispute Disney's abysmal track record, O Skull of Calderon, but I do dispute Season 3 being woke. In my opinion, Season 3 carried on the proud tradition of social commentary started by Star Trek back in 1966, framing the issues of the day in a science fiction framework that allowed viewers to consider an abstracted version of those issues, stripped of some of the stigma and dogma surrounding them. I felt like the Orville tackled these issues from a humanist perspective, just as Roddenberry did, presenting these issues fairly and allowing viewers to make up their own minds. We who love Star Trek welcome these kinds of discussions because they're not shoving any particular point of view down anyone's throat. They're presenting science fiction scenarios hoping to spark thoughtful debate instead of the usual anger, hatred, and vitriol, something I wish more shows would do. But the main objection here from you gentlemen seems to be the one I share. Will Disney turn the Orville into Obi-Wan Kenobi or the Acolyte? Will Kelly become the mostest importantest officer ever? Who shits all over Ed at every opportunity, shows him up every chance she gets? Well, my Hollywood Spies have spoken to a number of sources, and here's what they had to say. At this point, I must state that what I'm about to share with you is information provided to me by sources claiming knowledge of the situation, but since I cannot personally confirm any of this, I'm presenting it as unverified rumor, and I ask you to please take it with a grain of salt. Here is the report they sent me last week. Quote, "We are being told the Orville is getting ready to go into production on the next season, and we have enough sources to believe this. So why the long holdup? Well, according to a trusted source, the main reason for the long wait is because of Seth himself. As we understand it, Disney had demanded stuff, and Seth basically told Disney to pound sand. And allegedly, Seth shopped the Orville around. Both Amazon and Netflix was interested, but Seth is still under contract with Fox, now Disney, for 3 more seasons. At least 3 more seasons. And Seth wouldn't cave, and allegedly Disney has finally agreed to stay away from this show and give Seth full control." Unquote.
Wow. Well, shit. All I can say is, if this is true, hail Seth MacFarlane. I guess maybe, having tasted the sweet nectar of success with Deadpool and Wolverine, Disney is thirsty for another hit, and so they're ready to let MacFarlane work his magic unimpeded.
Bah, I'm certain a poison pill is in there somewhere, you mark my words. I've got a tingling down my spine, wherever the hell it is.
Hey, I'm cautiously ready to be optimistic on this point. I believe that the Orville is a passion project for Seth MacFarlane. He's not hurting for money, folks, and I strongly believe Seth would not soil and degrade his baby just to get a show on the air. No, my friends, if we get a season 4 of the Orville, and I think that likely now, Seth MacFarlane will do it his way. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry. Ha 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 ha.